The match. Ben.
Hi, Sloane. Ben Rothenberg, New York Times. That was a very good win for you. I mean, how good were you feeling out there, and how much of that is just translating from positive vibes you had in Paris for a lot of that tournament, or is there a new level you think you've clicked into here?
Yeah, I think when you're finding your game and kind of trying to work your way back, I think a lot of it is just being positive and knowing that you've been at a certain level before and trying to get back there. And I think for me, the biggest thing was like feeling good on the court, feeling like I'm competing, like I'm in matches. And then obviously today, after French, I felt good. I felt like I was competing better, even though obviously it didn't end the way I wanted it to. I was just feeling more like myself on court. And then coming into here, same thing, like trying to take that confidence and translate it into, good form and good tennis. And obviously playing against Petra, you have to bring your A game. And I thought I played really well today, and I'm just trying to keep the momentum going, trying to find that, like, that good, consistent level again.
Reem, please.
Hi, Sloane. This is Rima Hullel from Wimbledon.com. Sloane, I read your conversation with Madison on the Nike thing between you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And there was an interesting part where you're saying the perspective that you have now about going on losing streaks, but then not dwelling on that and knowing that you can get back to your best again. Do you mind sharing a little bit how you reached that mentality of accepting these kinds of highs and lows that are typical of a tennis career? And do you now not panic at all when you're on a losing streak and you just know it's going to come?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely panic when you're on a losing streak. I will say that. It's definitely like, I have to change this. My racket's not right. I need different shoes. I need like a new coach. Like, there's all of those things that creep obviously into your mind. But I think for tennis, it's so one week you could be pretty average and basic, and the next week you could be like quarterfinaling, semiing a grand slam, and your whole world changes. So I think kind of just having that perspective of like at any moment it could change and go the other way, and life could be totally different. It's happened to me more than a few times in my tennis career, so you just have to be prepared. I think it's unless you experience it, it's hard to explain to someone else. Like I feel like myself, Maddie, like I could name a ton of people who I know have gone through it, and it's been like, wow, like everything was pretty average, and then all of a sudden, like, your whole tennis career changes, and the perspective of your game and the expectation, like everything changes. And yeah, it's like I said, it's hard to explain if you haven't gone through it, because if you're in the before stage, you kind of like, is that really gonna happen? Like, what, like, will that ever happen in my career? And for players that it does happen to, it's cool, it's special, it's an experience, and it's also very traumatizing, so you have to be ready. And I think that, just being able to take the good with the bad it's difficult, but just as is life, you have to just kind of take it and work with what you got.
Ben, please.
The match before yours, Sloane, was Djokovic getting the first match on center court, which they always do at Wimbledon for the men's champion on the Monday. And I was curious, a couple things on sort of court assignments. One, would you like to see the men and women's champions get to alternate that sort of honor of being first on day one at Wimbledon, which Djokovic said he was open to? And then also just from a WTA player council perspective, how much are court assignments still a priority for the women, or what are sort of the things that council is looking for, or yourself personally, in terms of quality of these combined tournaments?
Yeah, I think every tournament can do better to, there's been a lot of traditions at a lot of tournaments. Like obviously Wimbledon's very special, and we know the rule that the men champion or whatever plays the first Monday, which is great. Like that's just something that's always happened at Wimbledon, and I understand, we all understand times have changed, and the whole thing about equality and having maybe it not be so men driven, like, oh, the man gets to go first. Like when you think about it and break it down like that, it's a little bit different. But I think we have so many other things that should be prioritized than the court assignment. And I could go on and on for days about that, but I think that that's just like a small stepping stone to, equal prize money and more women playing on center court, and like not at this tournament, just in general, like being able to split the night matches and things like that at every tournament. Like there's so many things that could trump this one, but I think for me as a player council member, prize money obviously is very high up there. Getting all the Grand Slams to get on board with having a good partnership, and I think it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight, obviously, but we're working and doing the best we can to make sure that all of our players are spoken for and they have a voice and a seat at the table, and that's all we can really do right now. We obviously all have jobs and we all are playing tennis, so this is like I tell Maddie all the time, like, this is our second job. I was like, I need a cell phone for my player council role. So we do the best we can, and trying to be the best voice for our player group, and that's all we can do.
George Sessions, please.
Hi, Sloane. Obviously, kind of in terms of grass, it's been 2 years, hasn't it, since you last played? How much belief and sort of confidence does a result like this against such a good player give you going into the rest of the tournament?
Yeah, obviously it's a great build. It's a great first match. Obviously, grass or not, obviously wanting to get a good win like this is really important. And I think not only for this tournament, but going into the rest of the season, for me, it's pretty big. So excited to have a good win here and hopefully continue to play some good tennis.
Ben, please.
Just following up on what you said previously, you, in terms of equal prize money being a priority, do you mean at this events where they still don't have it, like your Rome's in Cincinnati, or what do you mean by talking about?
Wait, I didn't hear. What was the first part of your question?
I was just trying to follow up with what you said in my last question, where you were talking about other priorities besides court scheduling. Like you mentioned prize money. I was wondering if that was like the equal prize money at tournaments that don't still have it, like Rome and Cincinnati, or what you meant there, just to clarify.
Yeah, every tournament should have equal prize money. So that is definitely a priority, I think, as a player group, for every tournament to have equal prize money. We obviously understand why they don't, but I think it's obviously a work in progress on to how we get there, and we just have to keep having those conversations and being open and trying to get more transparency out of tournaments and slams, and that's what we're doing.
Any further questions? Ben, did you want to come back in?
Don't ask all your questions on the first day, Ben.
I gotta pace myself. I know, but
goodness.
While I get a chance to have you in room 2 before you go to Hollywood, I gotta try that.
Okay, go ahead.
So this match particularly, just as a match question, so it's for today. So what were you able to do in this match today to beat Petra? Obviously, she's two-time Wimbledon champion. What were the keys, just sort of tactically, technically, whatever, to winning this match as convincingly as you did?
Yeah, obviously I haven't played on grass in 2 years. This is my first match back. So I think for me, it was more of just executing my game. I know I needed to serve well and return well. She, obviously, a lefty on grass is like your worst nightmare. So I was super prepared to like be diving for balls on the return, but I knew that I had to fight for every ball and make sure that I got my racket on a lot of those balls. And I did that super well today. Instead of like being super passive, I was super aggressive on the returns, and I was trying to make her play and kind of be on her back foot. Obviously, Petra likes to play super aggressive and inside the court, so I knew that I needed to play first ball tennis, and I did that pretty well today, which was good.
Any final question, please? In that case, thanks, Sloane. That concludes the press conference.
Bye, guys. Oh, my mask. Oh, no.